Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
New stunning drone video shows the final moments of Yahya Sinwar's life. He's camouflaged amongst the rubble, clinging for life in the chair on the left. He flings a stick at the IDF drone, which is filming this. Sinwar was the head of Hamas, a charismatic leader and the mastermind of the October 7th attack. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Sinwar's image of being a fearless military leader has now been shattered.
Residents of Gaza, Sinwar ruined your lives. We told you he was a lion, but in reality, he hid in a dark tunnel, and he was destroyed when he ran away in fear from our soldiers.
Sinwar's really begs the question of what will happen next. Well, Hamas just responded, saying in part it won't be stopped.
I can't believe I missed that yesterday. That's a pretty big development, and I'm sorry I didn't have it for you earlier. Apparently, it's been confirmed. He's finally out of the picture, but that doesn't mean that the war is going to stop, because he had some allies.
Russia's President Vladimir Putin has met with his Iranian counterpart, President Masoud Pezeshkian, for the first time. The two leaders held face-to-face talks at a regional summit in Turkmenistan, where they joined a number of heads of state from other Central Asian and Arab states. The Kremlin said the Russian and Iranian presidents discussed mutual relations as well as the situation in the Middle East. The meeting comes amid soaring tensions in the region, with Israel engaged in a war with the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. Well, ties between Russia and Iran have strengthened since the Kremlin sent troops into Ukraine in 2022, with Tehran widely believed to be supplying Moscow with weapons. But these growing ties have proved to be a delicate balancing act for the Kremlin.
Thank you, Randy, for bringing this to my attention. I've seen several reports that Israelis still want to target Iranian nuclear sites. Putin's like, hey, don't you dare. Something big may come of that if the war persists and Israelis decide to follow that path.
None of us will have a job. There will be universal high income. There will be no shortage of goods or services. Everyone will have access to as much in the way of goods and services as they would like.
As long as they take the mark. As long as they take Neuralink so they can receive these funds. Does this sound familiar? He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And I guess it's just a coincidence back in 2020 we had this patent which has 060606 in it, which is a patent for cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Nothing to see here. Hey, let's trust the guy who wants to merge man with machine, implanting Neuralink into your brain. That way you can be connected to artificial intelligence, which sounds like a great idea since he's the same one who said this.
The artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? Didn't work out.
Yeah, there's nothing nefarious going on at all. But hey, what do I know? This is all just my personal opinion and speculation.
I feel like there was a bunch of stuff jumbled up in there and made into one thing, which is kind of how conspiracy theories work, so I understand it. I'm not necessarily afraid because I don't think we're all going to be forced to have this Neuralink implanted in our bodies. I don't think that we're going to be forced to do that. Although part of me still does because, that's the fun part of my brain is like, oh, the new world order, we're all going to have chips and stuff. But I want to go back to that particular patent. It talked about body activity data. Now, I talk with Paradigm Shift Now over on my Rumble channel, and he talks about how how our society should work. Based on what we put in is what we should get out. And I'm not opposed to that. And if they want to track us somehow, it's basically like going to a job. You clock in, you clock out, and you're paid based on what you do. So I'm not terribly opposed to that idea.
It's not a second moon, and it's getting closer to us and way bigger than they said. Yo, this is very concerning. We have a lot of dots to connect. So first off, this dude made a video. Go check it out. It's crazy. Talking about the second moon. Except the second moon was actually 1.2 miles, not 33 foot like they before claimed. And this is nowhere near the craziest part.
Looked at the numbers on my program and noticed the diameter is 2 km. Google it, it says it's only 33.
So now even more concerned, the moon is getting closer to us every single month that goes by. And just a few days ago, a whole bunch of articles put UFO motherships have unleashed swarms of smaller craft over the US. So second moon or a mothership? Because these are both happening at the same exact time. And I hope that everyone's aware of what we've been trying to show you, that Indiana and other states all over the world, we are being swarmed by UFOs right now this last month. Where are they coming from, and what really are they? Remember, at the same exact time of the crash landing in Washington, D.C. But again, what are they? Here's where I showed you the 4K UFO. We even have ex-pilots who they spent 92 days in an alien mothership. And this mothership was brought up months ago, and now they're saying it's bringing UFOs. So a second moon or a mothership? And a mothership or something very, very different.
All right, so let's get rid of this whole second moon thing. The 33-foot asteroid that is swinging around us right now, it's not a moon. We're just calling it a second moon because it's here for a little while. So the actual second moon, the much bigger one, was actually discovered in 2016, and it was thought to have an orbit around the Earth with the moon, but they have actually discovered that it has an orbit around the sun. There's two different things. We're just calling that little rock that's here for a little while a second moon. Now, as far as all of the spaceship stuff, we'll get into that.
Spanish, Haitian, Indian, Jamaican, black, white, Cuban, or Asian.
Now, how did that get in there? While I've got your attention, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and hit that like button, it'll really help out my channel. Also, if this is your kind of content, please consider subscribing and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new episode every day. Also, if you want to leave me a comment, let me know what you're thinking. If there's any ideas that you've got you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know. And I love talking to you.
This is a story that's gone all the way to the White House. I'm not talking about people flying drones around airports or paparazzi looking into backyards. I'm talking about multiple major breaches of some of the most restricted U.S. airspace, including our most sensitive military and national security sites. All of this is according to the Wall Street Journal, or most of it anyway, which interviewed multiple U.S. generals and many other government officials. Here's what we know so far. In October of last year, 5 drones flew over a little-known government site in Nevada used for nuclear weapons experiments. Then in recent months, more unidentified drone swarms, as they've been described, flew near Edwards Air Force Base near Los Angeles. And here's the doozy of them all. Last December, the biggest incursion we know, a dozen or more drones every night for 17 nights straight, circling the area of Langley Air Force Base along the Virginia shore. This is an area that includes the Navy's SEAL Team 6. I know you've heard of them. Also, Naval Station Norfolk happens to be the largest naval port in the world. A lot of classified stuff there. And earlier this week, the Pentagon spokesperson did get a question about the sightings over Langley. Watch.
The number of those UAS incursions did fluctuate on any given day, but they didn't appear to exhibit any hostile intent. It's something that we...
Some carefully read remarks there. I have lots of questions, so do others. Where are these drones coming from? What are the drones trying to find out about us or our bases? And how come the military didn't just shoot them down?
Okay, so that answers my question the other day as to why this is back in the news. I didn't realize that it had been happening again recently, and that's a little concerning, especially with all of the movement going on in those war areas, right? So what if there are spies here and they're taking a look at our military bases, trying to find, some targets or something? That's a little concerning. And the reason they didn't shoot them down, like we talked about the other day, is it's illegal. They can't.
We're about to have open contact. I think it's actually pretty imminent now. And they will reintroduce themselves to our society now that we have evolved to a certain point where we're starting to explore the idea of expansion of consciousness. We're starting to understand we're not alone in the universe. And all these kinds of things open us up to being able to receive them again, but more as equals rather than as something so much greater than us. Yes, they are more advanced, but that doesn't necessarily mean on a soul level that they're better than us. So once we have arrived at this point where we may be ready to understand how to interact with extraterrestrials, I think we're about to be reintroduced to them in the next few years.
I love the positivity. It's not they're going to come down here and try to, like, take us all out or anything like that. It's they're going to come down here and we're going to meet with them, and it's going to be good. And I'm looking forward to it.
This information to med school training has to be done because they have to have them do what? Write scripts for the antis, antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals. So it's a huge economic structure for business, but it has nothing to do with science. And I'll give you an example in nature. You have kitchen, you got dirty dishes in the sink and breadcrumbs on the floor, honey on the counter, and then a bunch of cockroaches and ants come in crawling around. Now here's an MD's perspective. I think it's the cockroaches and ants that are the problem. As a naturopath, I would say it's the dirty dishes in the sink and the breadcrumbs on the floor. Now, someone's right here and someone's wrong. Now, my perspective is I would clean up the dishes and clean up the floor and clean up the environment, and the cockroaches and ants would go next door to a dirty environment. An MD would just come in and spray them with pesticides and insecticides and think he fixed the condition and leave the room. He'll come back a week later and he's wondering why they're twice as big, there's twice as many crawling around. Because he left the dishes in the sink.
What an incredible analogy. And that sums up Big Pharma to a T. Take care of the side effects, not the actual problem. And it's all in the name of money. You think about humans, I mean, we were able to survive and thrive and evolve for thousands and thousands of years without modern medicine. Don't get me wrong, I think modern medicine is fantastic, but in reality, it's just putting a band-aid on problems that we're creating for ourselves.
This is the truth about supplements that influencers don't want you to know. Time for school. This new study in the Journal of the American Medical Association tested 30 of the top immune-boosting dietary supplements on the Amazon marketplace. They analysed each product using a technique called liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. And the list of ingredients through analysis was compared to the list of ingredients on the product packaging. They found that 17 of the 30 supplements had inaccurate labels. 13 had ingredients listed that were not detected through analysis. And 9 supplements had substances that were analysed that were not disclosed on the packaging. And none of the products had third-party certification seals present on the packaging. So unlike the thoroughly tested and regulated pharmaceutical industry, the supplement industry is not regulated by the FDA. So companies can pretty much claim and add into their products whatever they like. So to be safe, the next time someone tries to sell you their supplements, it's a good idea to do your due diligence and to make sure they've been third-party tested. Class dismissed.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of vitamins and supplements and dietary supplements out at your pharmacy, especially the ones that you can get on Amazon, because who knows who's making them. They have a little label on them that says it's not been evaluated by the FDA. Not that the FDA is a great place anyway, my opinion of the FDA, but it's still a little more, trusted.
Elon Musk's SpaceX is getting sued. SpaceX is in the U.S. government's doghouse for not giving everyone a fair shake when applying to work at the company. The DOJ sued SpaceX over hiring discrimination yesterday, claiming that from 2018 to 2022, Elon Musk's rocket company discouraged asylum seekers and refugees from applying and refused to consider them because of their citizenship status. Musk has said multiple times in the past that SpaceX can't hire foreign nationals unless they have a green card because SpaceX works with advanced weapons technology. But the DOJ says, not true, Elon.
My husband pointed this out to me last night. We were watching Elon Musk have a conversation with Tucker Carlson. I decided I needed to find out a little bit more about that. So here's a little more information.
You're suing SpaceX because they hired too many Americans. How about your decision to file a lawsuit against SpaceX? Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, Chairman.
Let me ask it this way first. Did Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter have anything to do with the Justice Department's decision to file that lawsuit against SpaceX?
The investigation into SpaceX was open during the last administration, and we filed an administrative action under the Immigration and Nationality Act, an important law passed by this body with bipartisan support and signed into law by President Reagan.
So what are you alleging that SpaceX did wrong?
In this case, we allege that the company is not compliant with the anti-discrimination provisions of the Immigration and Nationality Act. This is a law that has been—
Who are they discriminating against?
Here they are discriminating against people who have received refugee and asylum status by our federal courts under the INA.
They're discriminating against refugees and asylum seekers. Is that right?
No, Chairman, against people who have received refugee status and asylum status by our federal courts and who enjoy equal standing under federal law to U.S. citizens and naturalized citizens. The law requires equal treatment of these individuals.
You're saying that SpaceX did not hire, is that appropriate, did not hire enough refugees or people who've been granted asylum? Is that what you're asserting in the lawsuit?
And that they discourage those people from applying for any job, whether it's for a custodial position, office clerk, someone who works in a kitchen facility, all the way up through engineering.
So you're suing, I just want to cut to the chase. You're suing SpaceX because they hired too many Americans, too many citizens, not enough people who are refugees or people who've been granted asylum.
This investigation.
And you waited to sue. This investigation started 3 years ago. I know the facts. It started 3 years ago. And yet you bring the lawsuit after Mr. Musk purchases Twitter, now X. Is that right?
We apply the laws that this body gave us without fear or favor.
And Mr. Musk, his assertion is that they're dealing with national security type information at SpaceX, and that's why he's even posted this before you brought the lawsuit. He said this. That's why they focus on hiring people who have a green card or are American citizens. And you guys say this is something we need to go after SpaceX because they're not hiring enough Americans, and we need to charge Ava Edel, 87-year-old concentration camp survivor. That's what the Justice Department and the Biden administration needs to do. But oh, by the way, we don't know anything about Missouri v. Biden. We didn't weigh in on the issue where a governor of a state told the citizens, they're American citizens, you cannot exercise your Second Amendment rights contrary to the law, contrary to what the Supreme Court has said. And you tried to tell us today that the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department is not political. Frankly, I find it almost laughable that you're making that argument, because anyone with common sense and any objectivity can see you guys are definitely political.
I just thought this was super fascinating. I hadn't heard of this before, and I do believe that it is political. Elon Musk is a very influential person. He has a lot of power. He controls a lot of just stuff. SpaceX, for crying out loud. And he's not on the right side as far as their politics are concerned. And then after that, he goes and he makes the American PAC just recently. So now he's giving money to the Republican campaign. And I bet they really hate that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hiring too many Americans. That should be our goal anyway, especially in instances where there is national security concerns. These are our rockets.
The government would like you to know that the spreading of dangerous disinformation is their job, and they've had a monopoly on it for years, until the invention of social media, which has allowed people to spread lies that are eventually proven true, and this severely limits the government's ability to create and control the narrative.
Fact.
A Texas man is fighting for his life in the hospital after he stole a package off of a woman's front porch, only to go back to his car, open it up, and see that it was full of black widow spiders. This woman was tired of this man coming by and stealing all of her packages before she could get home from work, so she made a little package that was just for him. When he popped that package open in his car, a bunch of spiders came flying out and they bit him all over his face, and then he started swelling up and getting nauseous, so he had to go to the ER, and then he called the police and would like to file assault charges against her for setting up that booby trap. So the police contact the woman and they're like, did you put a decoy package full of black widow spiders out on your front porch? And she's like, oh no, those black widows are my pets. Were you able to find them? I saw that they were missing and I just have them in a box because they like to play in there while I'm at work. And the police were like, oh, this guy, he stole the box and then they bit his face and he whacked a couple of them, so they're no longer with us. And the woman's like, he killed my pets? That's completely unwarranted. I'd like to file charges against him for that.
I don't think that this is a true story. I just think about myself opening up packages, and I've never opened up a package aggressively enough to cause anything to fly into my face, let alone multiple black widows that could bite me and land me in the hospital. But if this is an actual story, who do you think is right?
Remember the Miami Bayside Mall incident where there were allegations about aliens appearing through a portal? and it had everybody run out of the mall. And it had a whole bunch of police surrounding something here. Why do they need so many law enforcement at the scene? And we the people, we know what went down. Like witnesses that were there recorded the incident. And then all of a sudden, no one had those footages anymore. It was completely wiped out.
Yes, I realize this is old news, but something has developed lately. I used a clip yesterday that was talking about the DC aliens, but it mentioned someone named Fitz.
We've attempted multiple times to bring you details about an ongoing federal investigation involving a New York resident named Fitz.
So Fitz has nothing to do with the DC alien sighting. He's actually wrapped up somehow in this whole Miami incident. Check this stuff out.
The individual named Fitz, my testimony will touch on this matter, and I've been asked to approach with extreme caution. The incident at the Bayside Marketplace in Miami on January 1st is currently classified, and I've been instructed to refrain from divulging certain details due to the ongoing nature of the investigation. However, in the interest of transparency, I will provide what little information I am authorized to share. A New York resident we will be referring to as Fitz was indeed present at the Bayside Marketplace on the night of the incident. The DOD has confirmed that Fitz may have witnessed something classified. Reports indicate that this individual captured footage of the event in question, footage that, as of now, remains classified and has not been retrieved by the federal government. This footage, if revealed, could have profound implications, not only for national security, but for how we understand these events.
So of course, naturally, I'm thinking that seems a little suspicious. Why are they saying, hey, we need this guy, he's got some sensitive information, after saying nothing happened there? This stuff would be kept hush-hush, right?
We've attempted multiple times to bring you details about an ongoing federal investigation involving a New York resident named Fitz.
Okay, so for those who don't know, last year, January 1st, this dude Fitz was at the Bayside Mall in Miami, Florida, right? And this dude happened to get footage of what was going down when everybody was running out of the mall. Apparently, there was 3 big things. They don't know what kind of creatures they were, if they were people, they were extraterrestrials. They don't know what it was, if it was government made, if it was a hologram, if it was just some kind of just weird testing that they were doing. Fitz decided, I'm going to pull out my camera and get what we see. Well, now the news is saying that pretty soon that this guy Fitz is going to release this footage. Other witnesses before have been silent since then. They've gone missing since then. Fitz is now missing.
Well, lately, there's this huge focus on this guy named Fitz that apparently has had this footage that he's going to release, and he's missing because he has this footage. He's been called an enemy of the state because they're afraid of him releasing this footage. It's this footage.
And the closer that you got to the aliens, you notice what?
They were changing shapes. Like, it looked like they were glitching in and out of this reality, but when you look closer at some of the footage, they were also changing shapes. It was crazy.
So there are multiple pages claiming that this is the footage that Fitz supposedly has that he's going to release, yet it's been something that everybody has seen over the last almost year. After doing a little bit of digging, I found out that Fitz does not exist. It's all a freaking hoax. It's just an AI campaign to get a bunch of attention to a social media platform, and people are just picking it up and running with it. And I've seen multiple different images of who Fitz is. I'm pretty convinced that it's a dupe.
That the U.S. government has been operating a decades-long, I got to read this, crash retrieval program for these UAP, that biological remains of non-human origin have been found. Are you telling me that aliens are real?
Well, what I'm saying, Laura, first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. What I'm saying is that we have something that is made by non-humans.
Yes, we know. We've known for decades.
There have been whispers for weeks that something massive was spotted in the deepest reaches of space, heading in our direction. The James Webb Telescope picked it up, several unidentified objects way out in the blackness beyond Neptune. They're moving fast.
Too fast for anything natural, but no one can say for sure what they are.
NASA's keeping quiet, only adding to the speculation. Some say it could be a strange cluster of asteroids or a rogue comet, but the data doesn't line up. These objects are moving in a way that almost suggests intelligence, like they're searching for something. And the strangest part, they've come to a complete stop near Saturn, just sitting there, waiting maybe. Now, smaller objects have broken off and are heading closer, toward Earth. It's impossible to say it's definitely aliens, but the way these things are moving has everyone on edge. If it is something extraterrestrial, it could be monumental, or worse, terrifying. For now, it's a mystery, but whatever this is, it's coming. Is it possible the second moon has something to do with this? Or is it all just crazy alien conspiracy?
It really is difficult to know what's true and what's not. I've seen videos where people are claiming that NASA's like, no, we never saw anything like that. And there are videos where people are like, oh yeah, it's absolutely happening. I know what I want to believe.
This message is for the aliens in the course-correcting spaceship headed towards Earth that was spotted by the James Webb Telescope. Hurry the f*** up. Hurry up. I don't care if you're coming here in peace and curiosity and revenge. I don't f***ing care. Hurry up. Okay? We don't have any more billionaires volunteering as tribute to calm the ocean down. Okay, she's pissed off. Our rent is too expensive. Our food is too expensive. At this point, I don't give a f*** if you laser beam us into infinity and beyond. I don't give a fuck. Hurry up. I'm done. We're done. These motherfuckers are out of control. Thank you.
I couldn't have said it better myself. On that note, I'm calling it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.